right, we're gonna start off with Ripper and Harley need to settle down. Thank you for the biddies, though. Appreciate you guys. I can't count that much, and you guys did it while I was getting live. So it looks like 5 for Reckless, 10 for Harley, 5 more for Reckless, 1 for Reckless, 10 for Harley, 32 for Reckless, 1 for Reckless.
And his name is John C.
380 for Harley, then 1, then 7. You guys don't stop. Please stop. Thank you, though. Okay. Today, we're going to talk about the foosball.
Football?
The foosball, which we have no business talking about after last week. So the champ, 5-8, Ordhog, who got five wins, 8 losses. Ripper was second with 4-9.
And his name is John C.
Okay. And then Striker in the please don't bet on anything in real life at 2-11. That was against the spread. Straight up, it was 5-8, 5-8, 3-10. The homer pick coming through. I think our homer picks on across the board. Right? Oh, no, Cowboys were on a bye, so no homer pick for Ripper. Okay,
I
so
mean, technically he won because the Cowboys didn't lose. So
that is
Did
correct.
we though? Did we? Cowboys still found a way to lose against the bye.
So far, you are 64-40, a very good record. I am 61-43, a very good record. Striker is 60-44. I sent you guys in the Discord. They had, so basically the ATS standings, these guys pick, they're pros and they pick. And their best player was Davenport, who was 51-40-2. In the SU standings, they were a little better with their top guy at 61-32. But not bad for picking with not a lot. Well, I don't have Pro Football Focus. The analyst does, and it's not helping. So last week, everybody got, it was lots of upsets, right? So anything stood out from last week?
49ers lost?
Again.
Not really, man. I mean,
which Purdy is on the I can't remember my name anymore protocol.
Yeah. But Purdy's gonna have some bad games though, right? He's just a
Purdy's concussed.
That's
He's
what I
not
meant.
just having a bad game. He is.
Oh no, I get that he's concussed, but even if he wasn't, he's due a few bad games, right? He's not. I don't think his deal with the devil is signed in blood yet, so he's not gonna have a perfect game every week. Being a sophomore or whatever, second year quarterback, you're going to expect bad games.
Did you guys see the play that he got injured on?
No. But it was early on because then he went 1 for 5 with 2 picks.
I'm guessing he got concussed.
It was a push type of play, the Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah.
Butt push, and a linebacker just came over and just lit him up.
According to Kelsey on his podcast, there have been very few injuries on that. Because, of course, the competition committee is looking at trying to get rid of that, and part of it would be player safety.
I mean, what is so dangerous about it? I use it.
Yeah, but you're also not playing against NFL.
Correct. You're right. But what is the dangerous part? Other than they're pushing him into the traffic, I guess?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people in a small space all trying to push for something forward,
I don't think the dangerous part is for the quarterback. The most dangerous part is for the center who's at the bottom of that pile. You got everybody on
or the defensive tackle on the other side, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Make it stop.
How different is it from a regular quarterback sneak, other than they're pushing him? Because in a regular quarterback sneak, your O-line is still going low, and your quarterback is hitting an open hole, open gap, little
they
space.
used to have a rule though that you couldn't push the running, because back in the day, like in the 60s, they used to do that stuff all the time, and they used to push running backs forward, and they made a rule that you couldn't do that. And I don't know what happened because it's obviously not in effect right now, right? I mean, let's face it,
part
you
are they
got
trying to-
a center and a quarterback that can, between the two of them, lift a bus. That's why it's so effective, and I don't think other teams have that combination. So the Eagles obviously have an advantage until someone can. What I understand is that thing gets like 4 yards a carry. They could literally run that as their offense.
So then, are they trying to get rid of it because it's dangerous, or get rid of it because only
I
Philly
think
uses it?
other teams want it to be getting rid of because they can't stop the Eagles. I think the NFL is going to say it's it's an injury play risk. I don't think it's any more than any other play. In fact, it's probably least because you're not running to hit somebody. You're just pushing, right? So it's probably one of the least dangerous plays.
I would like to know what they say is the most dangerous part of it, right? I don't know. I would just think
I'm with Ripper, or I'm with Wardy. I don't think it's an injury issue as much as I think the NFL actually just thinks it's boring. It's a really boring play in the grand scheme of things.
let's be honest. It's Jerry Jones crying, and Jerry Jones gets his way when it comes to the NFL.
Is that really it?
Look at everything.
Well, now,
When
if he
Jerry
traded
Jones
for
wants
Jalen
something,
Hurts, would he
makes it
suddenly
happen.
forget all about this?
Probably yes.
That's my boy.
Look, man, Jerry lives by the saying, "If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, bro." He's gonna try on everything. He's gonna try to do everything he can to give himself the advantage until someone takes it away, right? In this case, Philly has the advantage, and he wants it gone because it's not for him.
Correct.
Jerry has a lot of pull in the NFL, bro. And
he is the owner of the flagship team, right?
what position does he carry on the board for the NFL? Is he on the competition board? He's on one of those.
I'm sure he is. The competition committee?
One of them, yeah. He's part of something.
I'm looking it up now.
But again, Niners looked mortal, which is strange. I guess they're getting hurt too many times. The Bears. The Bears is our Division II quarterback from nobody. Outdid anything Justin Fields did in the regular season. Does he replace Fields, or is that just a 1 week wonder?
As much stock as they put into Fields, it's a 1 week wonder. To their own detriment, right?
Yeah.
I think so, anyways. I mean, Fields was what, round one, so on and so forth.
Correct.
Yeah,
The other guy was undrafted, so
say, let's put in the guy from I don't know West Virginia State or where did he go?
Somewhere in
some
West
technical
Virginia,
college,
like Savannah or
Votech?
something. Yeah, correct.
West Virginia. Is that what you said?
Shepherd. I think that's what it was.
Oh yeah, the welder from West Virginia. Not
Shepherd
replaced.
Rams.
Connection lost.
And we've lost the analyst who's on TDY this
I saw
week.
that. I saw the video of his dad arm wrestling. He has a podcast too, an arm wrestling podcast supposedly or something like that.
Oh wow. Watson's probably going to be out another week with the Browns. They squeaked by the Colts. The Patriots came alive. The Giants came alive. I actually picked the Falcons right, which amazed me.
I'm surprised you even picked the Falcons.
Yeah, me too. The Ravens actually laid up. What happened with it? Just the Lions? I don't know. Someone angered Lamar that week.
I don't know. The Lions look horrible. Although the Egyptians still got his stats, but they didn't look very good at all. I don't know what happened there.
The Steelers are actually being a plunky little team. The Seahawks won over the punchless Cardinals. The Broncos beat the punchless Packers, which it looks like you're right on, Love. Oops. The Chiefs looked alive against the Chargers. The Dolphins-Eagles game went exactly like I thought. The Eagles handled it. And I mean, someone said that the Dolphins are a race car. Like, it's a race car, but it quickly gets broken. So,
I thought they'd do a lot better than that. I know the Eagles' defense is good, but I honestly thought the Dolphins would hold up a little bit better. I was a bit disappointed.
and then
I will say I think the Dolphins got hurt a little bit by not having their normal starting, top running backs in. Mostert's great, but Mostert's good, but he's not great.
He's not that rookie, or is he a rookie or second year?
No,
Whatever
Mostert's
his
the
name is,
ex-Niners
Evian
guy.
or
Yeah, he's in his Raheem Mostert's in his 9th season.
no, but the other kid that got hurt, I don't know how to say his name. The rookie they had.
A Kane or whatever is a chain.
Yeah.
He's on IR until the 19th at least.
Jeez.
We don't enunciate on this show. Come on.
Yeah, Evian water. I don't know.
Exactly. Ricky from another college that's
Ricky
small.
Bobby?
Yeah, Ricky Bobby. And then Kirk Cousins doing Kirk Cousins things. So
The Giants won. Who?
yeah, Daniel Jones staved off elimination for one more week.
Well, it's an NFC East matchup, so you knew that was actually going to be a close game,
Yeah,
a boring game. But
which makes them those are the again. I think in the betting thing that's like a rule. Like I don't know that I would bet a divisional matchup game because they're too crazy. I mean, if anyone knows you, it's those teams in your division, right? And they usually are designed to stop you. So, yeah, I wouldn't bet on them.
I think the craziest game for me this weekend, honestly, or craziest upset, wasn't even the Vikings and 49ers. It was the Bills and the Patriots. That one shocked me.
It shocked me in the way the Patriots walloped them, right? And the Bills look lethargic on offense.
Yeah.
So
Did not look good. Did Diggs play the whole game or did he get hurt?
I saw him play most of the game, so I think I saw him at the end. So
Oh, Zeke scored a touchdown.
does that make you happy?
Yeah, I mean,
No?
Diggs got a 4th quarter touchdown, so I'd say he played the whole game.
All right, cool. I don't know why I thought he got hurt. Does it make me happy that Elliott scored? I think we're missing that power game with the Cowboys. Yes, I told you that. I told you that the Cowboys, Pollard and whoever the hell else wasn't going to cut it. That's the biggest. There's problems with the Cowboys, and running game is a big one. And I said that. I think we're missing that red zone push that Elliott can give you. He's just a powerful runner in the red zone.
Is this
Even
the
to
year
keep him
that
around
that
for that.
becomes more because the top teams seem to have that flaw? Like the Bills can't run, right? The 49ers can't run without McCaffrey. Like some of the top teams don't run very well.
Well, the Bills didn't. Cook has not been doing too bad though. I mean, he doesn't have
What's he
rushing yards,
averaging?
right?
70 a game?
Yeah, he's not doing great on his average, but he's also coming out of the backfield and catching passes. I don't know. But you're right. Something's not right with the Bills. And would it be offense or defense, though? Because, man, you let the miserable Patriots offense put up 29 points on you.
Well, yeah, but if you're
Matt-
going, if you're again, they're not putting points up on the board because usually, you know how that's all complimentary. You start scoring points. You know your defense can then get on their heels and start brushing the passer, and it all sort of feeds off of itself. I think it's from what I, and again, it was in London. From what I saw, the Bills playing the Jags, they were slow, like their offense was bad, and then it didn't look any better against the Pats.
That defense let Mac Jones go 25 of 30 for 272 yards, two touchdowns, and 0 picks. I mean, damn.
And they only got 1 sack and very minimal pressures on him. So
Crazy.
yeah.
I think the bigger problem would be the defense then, right? I mean, your offense still put up 25 points. If you're, again, we've said it though, the game has changed, right? I said, we've said it, but it seems like teams are more in the sense of let me just outscore everybody and on the defense, right? It seems like teams have forgotten that defense wins championships, in my opinion.
Well, I would say that except the 49ers are stacked, and look what they're doing now. So I don't.
And then the Vikings lit them up, though.
Yeah, but they have some talent. And the Dolphins have Ramsey. Speaking of defense, they have Ramsey coming back, so maybe they'll look a little better on defense, turning the corner because I think some of their corners got banged up. All right, on to Week 8, our very first game, a Thursday night game. Actually, one I think is somewhat interesting: the Bills and the Bucks.
I don't know. After last week's game, this is a tough one.
Correct.
How did McCaffrey? What's his name? Baker Mayfield, bro. What did they do last week? Did they play last week?
Yeah.
They did.
He's up and down as normal.
I think the Bills come off a bad game losing to a team they shouldn't have lost to. I think they come out angry, and we've said this before, and I don't know that it holds a lot of water anymore, but I do think the Bills are a better team than we're seeing. You're not going to win games giving a quarterback like Mac Jones all the time in the world because he's not a great quarterback. But man, even a bad quarterback, if you're not putting any pressure on him, can sit there and throw the ball around, right?
Yeah.
So Bills have a bad game. I think they come back at this one, and they have the potential here to lose again because Baker is Baker. And Baker, like I told you, he's going to be good for 4 or 5 really good games where he plays like, wow, Baker's great.
He's
And
a
then
franchise quarterback. And
and
then
he's got 13 other games where you're like, yeah, I can see why he's not with any team anymore or jumps around. Either way, though, I think the Bills are still strong. I think the run game for the Bills, I know you don't like it, but I think the run game is a little bit better than you think. I think Cook is a good running back, both catching the ball and running the ball. They've got Diggs. They still have a pretty good offense that'll compete against this team. Whereas this game is going to be more of a I need to outscore the Bucks than necessarily stop the Bucks because right now the Bills defense is just horrible, bro. I don't understand what's going on there, but I'm sure they'll fix it. I'm
well,
still going.
and
Well,
remember
what's the
they
spread?
lost their linebackers.
This is true.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but are they out or are
yeah,
they
yeah,
banged up?
yeah, yeah. Milano's like leg was on backwards. So
Wow, that can hurt, man. If you're playing with backup linebackers and not using your starters, that could be tough, man.
well, and that's where
Because
if you're not getting, and I know that guy that used to be Von Miller, he's been banged up, in and out, and he's their one of their good pass rushers, and then they lost two of their linebackers that I'm sure adds pressure to it. So that middle of the field's probably a lot more open. Plus, you're not getting the pass rush. Miller's coming back, so that'll probably work itself out.
Well, I want to say that Tampa Bay's offense is horrible and it's going to be tough, but I mean, look at Mac Jones. Look at, the Patriots offense is horrible and look what they did, right? They put up what, 29 points?
Yeah, but
This
this
is
is this
honestly
is in Buffalo. The Bills are favored by 8.5. So, and it's not a
ugh,
divisional game.
I still don't like that 8.5.
I'm not a fan of myself.
The thing is that Tampa, again, their offense isn't great either. They're not doing much, especially in the rushing game. They have like a
Yeah,
non-existent
no,
rushing
yeah,
game.
exactly.
The passing game ain't great. Mike Evans is inconsistent because of Baker.
Yeah.
It's just tough, man, because you said 8.5 points. That's a tough one. Will the Bills come back and win this one by 10, or will they win this one by 7? This is really a coin flip, if you ask me. I'm going to go odd here, and I'm going to say the Bills win it, but they don't cover. They win by like field goal or 7 points.
All right. I was
It's a
going the
weird one.
same thing, and
Oh my God.
I don't want to now. So I'm going to take the Bills on the over. So I'll go Bills 9.
Ripper was actually not going to be odd there because I was going to do the Bills under too. I'm going to say the Bills by 7. I just don't see the Bills. I don't see it being a wide open game because the Bills don't look good, and 8.5. Anytime I've gone over recently, just seems to backfire on me. So I'm gonna hedge my bets and say under.
To be
You know,
clear, anything you've done like last week backfires.
Well,
the
yeah.
problem
that's
here
fair.
is what kills us here is that the Patriots offense was miserable. And then they put up, 29 points on these guys. And Tampa's offense is miserable too. I know the Bills doesn't score points. I just don't think they can stop anybody from scoring, right? And I honestly think that the Tampa offense is a little bit better than the Patriots. And again, I just don't see it.
I feel Tampa's probably gonna. I feel Tampa's like a 15-point offense right now because they don't have a running game, and again, I think it was one of Belichick pulling the rabbit out of his hat, right? So, all right, so we got 2 Bills not cover, 1 Bill covers. Everybody going for the Bills. Sorry, Baker. I want you to win. I do. The next one we have is going to be the and I don't want to ignore chat. So Daniel, great job on the Browns winning by 1 point. It's exactly like I said though. The Rams are playing the Cowgirls.
Oh boy, we're gonna start it so early.
That's the
Do you want
game.
the rant version or the non-rant version?
I would like the rant version actually.
Oh my God. all right, let's start off with Dakota. I don't think his team believes in him, to be honest. I don't know what it is. And look, when we had Tony Romo, even his team still believed in him. All his fans still believed in him, right? You heard a little bit of rumblings, but not like you do now. If you had 100% of the Cowboy base, 75% of it does not like Dak Prescott. 75% of it thinks they're chokers. At least 75% of the people I talk to that are, Cowboy fans.
Obviously, Uncle Rico is in that.
When it was Romo, though, you didn't have that, man. People, they knew Romo couldn't win the big one, and they would think he would choke down them, but they still believed that there was going to come the time. I don't see it with Dakota. I just don't. I don't see it with this run game. And I know I said that preseason that the run game was going to hurt us, and it still is. Tony Pollard is a fast guy and all that, but to me, he's a complimentary back. You get what it means?
Oh, yeah.
Complimentary
That's showing
power back.
It's showing obviously right
I
now,
honestly
right?
think we should
Like him and Zeke were a good combo. Just Zeke was
not to
overpaid.
be an all-down runner, but to put that red zone running back, man, because he's still a red zone running back.
Yeah.
He's still a powerful burst of a runner, within those 5 yards, right? He's not the old Zeke where I could break long runs or carry the ball 25 times. Anyways, we're missing that. And it's not going to come out of Von, what's his name, the little midget. It's not going to come out of Koala Bear,
little
however you
people.
say his name. We don't have a power back, dude. We're hurting right now. And it's not going to, that ain't going to change anytime soon. Dak Prescott's stats aren't horrible. He has 1,300 and some yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 picks. But sometimes you see his throws and you're just wondering, what is he throwing at, right? Like, he does know the other team is wearing a red jersey, not a blue jersey. Like, it's crazy, bro. I don't know what Dak Prescott's
He's
doing.
Kirk Cousins South, right? Like,
correct. I've lost faith in Dak Prescott, and that's sad as a Cowboy fan, right? Like, your quarterback, I'm gonna put up the meme. I'm gonna start crying like Terrell Owens. That's my quarterback. But I don't feel that way. I feel like we need a change, and the change has to be that quarterback. I think that while the iron is hot, trade him, get some draft picks, and let's go into the draft and get something, But Jerry, man, Jerry can't be wrong. So that's never going to happen. Jerry is the detriment to the Cowboys is Jerry Jones. Now, this game, I think the defense is still good. Bland stepped up in Diggs' place and is playing very well. I think we still have a defense. I think we're going to have off games, on games, and part of that is when you're a good defense and your offense is just killing you and you're on the field a lot, fatigue kicks in, right? And that hurts a great defense. So in this case, the Rams are a pretty good little team, aren't they? They've got a great passing game. What is it? The
4-letter wide receivers.
Yeah.
Puka, Tuka, and Cup.
Puka, Tutu, and Cup. Yeah. Great receivers. They are missing Kyron Williams, who got hurt. Akers is gone, and I don't know who's Henderson and Freeman. Is that who stepped up for him?
Yeah, they're picking up people off the street, dude. Yeah, they're going to call the Cowboys and get a trade for somebody pretty soon. That's how desperate they are.
They're still good at passing that ball, though, bro. However, this is going to be a good game. I don't think the Cowboys completely stop them on the pass. I'm just worried about what the Cowboys are going to do on offense, right? You can't rely solely on your defense anymore in this league. Their teams have made the game so vertical that defenses are getting very fatigued. That makes sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what's happening with the Cowboys, man. They're just fatiguing the heck out of them, and they're losing games. I don't want to say this.
Then don't
I
say
can't say it. I can't say it. I'm going with the Cowboys. What's the spread?
6.5.
I can't. I have a. If I had no feelings for the Cowboys, I would say the Rams win this one, but I can't do it. I'm going with the Cowboys because I just can't go against them.
And
unless they were playing like the 49ers.
7?
You know what the problem is? I don't see where they score it. I don't see where they should outscore the Rams. I just don't see it. Unless the defense gets on fire and scores 3 touchdowns, I just don't see it, man. That's how bad the Cowboys have been playing offensively. Defensively, they're still on fire. But again, if your offense is 3 and outing so much that you're not on the field, then what? Who's going to score touchdowns? Pollard? I mean, you can't do it all with Lamb. What do you have left?
Yeah, your fantasy relevance is dipping.
Bad. Lamb is the only one.
Yep.
I'm not picking up Pollard. Dak, come on, he has 6 touchdowns, 4 picks. Why would you?
Though
There's no
the
way.
flip side is Stafford, while he's got some yards, he's throwing picks. Like
Correct.
you guys, and that's what's going to come down to is do the Rams play turnover mistake free ball? Do the Cowboys play turnover mistake free ball? And which one loses a turnover battle? And quite frankly, both of them tend to, for having as much talent on the offensive side, Stafford's still throwing a lot of picks. Probably because his
Correct.
line's not the best, right? And you guys should put pressure on him. I think after I saw him. He's sitting in the teeth of the defense and taking hit after hit after hit. At some point, those catch up to you, and it looks
Especially at
like
his
they
age.
are.
Well, and
The other-
didn't Stafford have the neck injury last year too, or the year before? There's been some questions about whether or not he stays healthy and makes it through another season.
No, I mean, yeah, he was hurt half of last year, so yeah,
He's 52 years old.
correct.
The thing is, he's got some great receivers. What they are missing is Kyron Williams. He was having a great season, and he'll be back in 4 weeks, but they are missing that.
That's
and,
a long 4 weeks, right? Like when you need that guy, you're like, oh man.
I honestly believe the Cowboys can stop Henderson and Freeman. It's the pass game that I'm worried about. I think they'll be all right. Again, I just can't go against them. I'm going to go with the Cowboys covering.
Cowboys covering.
I hope.
Stafford looked too bad
Well,
last
since
week.
I've got no Cowboy fandom to it, I'm going counter to that, and I think the Rams take this one.
Oh, that makes me feel even better. So I'm gonna go with you, Cowboys over. Stafford's not been looking good the last few weeks.
Wow. He's got like 2,000 yards.
He hasn't looked really good the last few weeks, though. Their offense hasn't looked really good. I mean, yards, but not points.
Yeah.
So, and I knew you were going to say that, so I looked it up. The reason they lost the Steelers game, Steelers got 10 points off of missed field goals last game against the Rams. So if they don't miss those field goals,
How did they get 10
Steelers,
points off of missed field goals? An extra point and 3 field goals?
No, because on the missed field goals, they got great field position and were able to drive down the field and score on short fields. Right? So
They let go of the kicker. What was the kicker? Mayhar?
not anymore. They cut him.
Yeah, saw that.
So I mean, I think to me the Rams' problem has been the kicking game, and they're trying something new, and I'm willing to give them faith in that one because the Rams against the Seahawks 2 weeks ago, or whenever the last time they played, had similar kicking issues.
I kind of feel good that Striker's going against the Cowboys.
I kind of feel good about the pick myself. So
You both suck.
so yeah, it doesn't like the first week when they did really well, I was on board. The second week when they held against the Niners, I was on board. Since then they've been up and down. Like it should, with those three guys, he should be able to tear people up, especially Cup. I mean, Cup was on fire the first 2 weeks back, and then last week he got 50 yards, which it happens every once in a while. But the other two didn't. Again, the Steelers.
Puka tore it up last week.
The Steelers are not the team. So Cup did and Puka did.
Yeah,
I thought it was
eight receptions for 154.
Again,
Yes.
you can't beat the Steelers.
Puka was
The
targeted
Steelers
12 times.
aren't
Cup
that
was only
good.
targeted 7 times. So,
All right.
And I still lost with him on my roster, by the way. And you know why I lost? Because I played Ridley instead of Addison from the Vikings.
That hurt.
I will no longer play Ridley.
He's up and down in that offense. All righty, next one up. Anonymous subperson, thank you very much, whoever it was.
I thought you were going to be the internet problem.
nope. Apparently, I'm not the internet problem guy.
Wardy, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, you've timed out twice now.
no. Well, brought to you by Spectrum.
Skylink?
Striker's internet brought to you by AT&T phone hotspot.
Nice.
Okay. Next up is going to be the Vikings and the Packers.
Well, you know how I feel about this one. I am not a Jordan Love fan whatsoever. So far, he's living up to what I said he'd be. Can no longer say trash about NFL players. I'm not saying he's trash, but he's not. He's a backup quarterback, bro, and that's where he's gonna be. That's the best that he's gonna be, and I think eventually the Packers will realize that. They're gonna give him this season to see and realize that next season, I feel they'll change after this season. He's just not that quarterback. He's not. He's not. I think that the reason he may not be that quarterback, and I know there's stories coming out that Aaron Rodgers wished him well. I think Aaron Rodgers was selfish and didn't really help this kid come along. I could be wrong, but just my feeling. However, though, what I'm not wrong about is that Jordan Love is not the man. And the Vikings, I mean, no what's his name got hurt, right? Justin Jefferson?
He's still out, yeah.
Yeah.
And man, but Addison really looked dynamic last week.
Which is
He looked
amazing
great.
how those two don't look dynamic together. Like they don't seem to work well together. Or maybe Cousins can only throw to one. I mean, I know he can only throw to one on a play, but he seems to like feed the ball to one. I don't know what's going on there.
Okay, so would you say Addison's big game is just lack of game planning by the 49ers for a backup or not a two or what is he? Was he the 2 or the 3 receiver? You know, the third string or second string receiver,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call him, or was it just he was really that dynamic? Because he looked good. He just looked to be burning everybody and getting open all the time. He was finding all those little open windows, and Kirk Cousins was hitting him. He did look very good, and he was on my bench, and I lost by 3 points, by the way. I'm not bitter though. I'm not mad.
and Ridley got you what, 0.5?
0.
0.5. I think I beat Stryker the second week. He would have been number 2, so I feel good about that.
Would you say his big game was just one of those things where the defense just doesn't account for him? Or was he just that good?
So your defense doesn't not account for a wide receiver 1, 2, or 3. I'm sorry. You don't. You may not double cover him, which that makes perfect sense. But with Jefferson out and he starts going off, why wouldn't you? That's where
You would think
coaching
your best
adjustments make a difference, right?
DB plays the best receiver,
Correct.
right?
Well,
Jefferson's
unless
not your
again,
best
it
DB.
depends, right? Seems
If
play
you're playing
zone.
or whatnot.
Yeah.
I got you. But in theory, your top guy is on their top guy.
Correct.
Is the top. I mean, all right, and that was against the 49ers, who have some good guys.
They've allegedly have a great defense.
I know the Packers defense isn't horrible. So I don't know. Again, whose defense is better, 49ers or Packers? I would say 49ers, right?
All day, twice on Sunday.
I mean, they're going to double team the heck out of Addison now. I guarantee you. And Jefferson isn't back for a couple weeks, correct?
Yes.
So I mean, I think that'll make a difference. What I'd like to see, what the Vikings don't have, is a running game. With Akers, Madison.
Yeah, Madison went off last week.
1 out of how many weeks now?
Yeah,
exactly.
But on the flip side, the Packers don't have a quarterback, a wide receiver, and a healthy running back.
Don't get me wrong. I'm going Vikings galore. What's the point spread? Even if it's 10 points, I'm going Vikings. I think the Packers are that horrible. I think led by Love.
Stryker's got it even, which...
That's what ESPN has it.
Wow. I'm still going to Vikings. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on a bad quarterback. I don't think the Packers are a good game, and the main reason is their offense. I know that Aaron Jones is back, and I'm sure that'll make a difference. But still, to me, Love is your problem. Now, he has 1,200 yards, almost 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 7 picks. But man, he's hitting what, 57.5 completion rate? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Where most quarterbacks are what, in the high 60s?
Yeah, the most bad. I mean, the middle tier are hitting the high 60s.
Not everybody can be Patty Mahomes.
Correct. So I got a question for you. So Aaron Jones had a hamstring issue, right? In practice, got hurt catching a pass. Like, if you got a running back coming back from a hamstring injury, are you practicing him like that?
Depends how healed he is, right?
Well, obviously not that healed.
Well, if he's just if he's running a simple bubble route, there's not a lot of risk of a hamstring. Like if he's you're gonna hurt your hamstring running, cuts and all that, right?
Well, I guess
If
he
he's
lunged for the ball, and that's where it popped again.
so he's hurt again.
Well, he was hurt prior to the game.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
don't
he's
know.
again when you draft the guy and you're like, oh, he's going to be hurt. How many games, right?
Yeah.
It's like CMC. It makes you really happy when he's in.
Thing is, man, these guys, you got to practice your backs, right? I mean, especially if they're coming off an injury, practice is the best time to push their limits. I get it. I mean, where would you rather him get hurt, before the game or during the game?
During,
Why?
because it counts. You get hurt in a game, it is what it is. You get hurt in practice. I mean, you lost Diggs in practice. Like,
Yeah, but now you got more time to account for it, right?
I don't
To
know.
change your game plan, to make sure you have. I get it. I don't know.
I
Simmons
mean,
did
in
not
this
look great
league
in
right
this
now, with some of the calls they're putting on quarterbacks, we're getting really close to flag football. So, yeah, I don't know how much practice is needed, especially if you're coming back from injury.
Dude, I had a friend of mine who's telling me that within 5 to 10 years there will be no more tackle football, youth, professional, nothing. I doubt that because of the money side,
Yeah.
but everything is going to go flag. And then recently we see that the flag football is going to be in the Olympics. It's like, to me, I started thinking about that buddy, going, "Wow, maybe this guy has some insight." Like, because that's gonna ramp up the sport, right? Flag football. It's in the Olympics, man. You don't have tackle football in the Olympics.
Well,
Look what
it would be a completely different. It's a different skill set, right?
Tyreek Hill says he's got the skill set for it. He wants to. Be on the
Tyreek
Olympic
Hill
team.
does have the skill set for it, but
Correct.
your big lumbering guys are basically eliminated.
Oh, your linemen are out. It's basically 7-on-7 with flags.
Yeah.
Although the quarterback can run, so it makes a difference. And have you ever seen a flag football game with adults?
I won a championship in Kansas City.
Were you one of those flag football? Obviously, I'm a big boy. Never my game, right? I have kids. I mean, our kids. We do flag football during the winter and 7-on-7 in the summer, all that good stuff. But obviously, I never really played flag football, being a big dude. But are you one of those spinning guys that spin, so you can't pull your flag?
No, I have like a cannon. I can throw 50, 60 yards. So
But when you had to run,
the ball came out before I had to run.
all right, cool. Well, you've seen what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
You have those running.
I can spin. It is not nearly as effective as Tyreek Hill.
Correct. That's the whole point. Like, these guys spin. It's like, holy smokes! How do you pull a flag on that guy?
It's a whirling like a pinwheel. So, okay,
Crazy.
I'm going Vikings. Obviously since they're even, Vikings cover.
Yes.
Over to Striker in sports.
Yeah, so little distracted just because of some news that's coming out, but Vikings, there was a mass shooting in Lewiston, Maine, somewhere in the neighborhood of 22 dead.
Wow.
Yeah. Vikings. I just I don't understand what Vegas or whoever's setting the line sees on this one. I mean, the Vikings are just a better talented team with more talent, period. I mean, and you guys may have talked about it. It goes back to the fantasy relevance, right? Like, Packers don't really have anybody, and I've got Dylan on one of my teams, and I still wouldn't probably play him this week. So, the Vikings across the board.
Yeah, the thing is, it's Cousins. Let's be real. That's the problem.
Dakota's cousin.
Which someone said, trade him now. They're like, after that performance against the Niners, his stock will never be higher. Just trade him now. You can probably get a first rounder for him.
Isn't he on a contract here or something like that? I read something about Cousins being on deny. He had the opportunity to waive his trade clause or something like that, and he decided not to.
Yeah.
So they can't trade him.
Well, you can always ask. They can always work that out. We will give you this money.
Yeah, but he waived the trade. I mean, he didn't waive it. He said no. He already said no.
Well, that's because he's not dumb and he knows you get traded.
I don't know that it's that anymore. Like, you watched that show, right? The quarterback show, Strike.
Yep.
I think he really likes where he's at. For one, I think he was already disappointed once having to leave Washington, and I think he's happy where he's at. He's a home. Man, you got to watch it. Cousins isn't like some of these other guys, right? He's He's more laid back. He's more family centered. He doesn't want to be moving his family everywhere, and I think he likes where he's at.
Dude even admitted that he lets his wife dress him, and like all the outfits he wears are not his choice whatsoever. This dude is a family man through and through. He is not a go make the most money guy. He's the most family stability guy because he doesn't need to worry about that anymore.
No,
Right?
you're right. Correct. He's invested right. If you read more into it, like, there's an article. He's invested right. He said there is no money worries. He's not playing it for money anymore. He already did that. He already got the
Even
big
if he
contract.
hadn't invested right, I mean, he's still made somewhere in the neighborhood of $230 million.
Correct. But he set up his family. His family is set for generations.
Yep.
It's not about money. It's about where he's comfortable, who he's playing with, and he's got a no trade clause. So I think the Vikings are going to have to swallow it unless he surprises us all, right? He goes takes $1 billion contract, but who's going to pay that? Let's be honest. How much of a market is there? Yes, there's teams like the Panthers who would take
And the
Kirk
Browns,
Cousins in a heartbeat. The Browns, yes. But again, is Kirk Cousins going to the Browns? Is he going to the Panthers? Like, it's fan base, it's family.
Yeah.
He really loves his home, and you see it all. Watch that show, Quarterbacks. Or do you like it?
Meanwhile, the
Sorry.
Packers,
Sidetrack.
Jordan Love will be chunked out next year. So,
Oh, there you go. Maybe. Where is Kirk Cousins from?
He went to Michigan State. I'm not sure where he's. He's from Michigan, so Minnesota, Michigan, they're not too far away.
there you go.
So,
Alrighty.
Right.
I want no part of this game. The Falcons and the Titans.
Falcons and the Titans. I'm trying to pull it up.
And which 1960 throwback team will win?
You know what was funny about last week with the Falcons? They didn't really run the running back. Apparently he had the flu or something.
He ran like one time, right?
Yeah, but he was sick, supposedly sick. They weren't really like, it was a little vague. Oh, he was sick. You would think. That
Well,
would
I heard he got like flu or food poisoning or something like that. So it was one of those. He just started feeling bad like at that game. But it is odd because basically you're a running back. You just go run, like, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm pulling the stats of the last game. I want to see what their running game did. Did Algiers run?
A little bit, but he didn't. I mean, he wasn't knocking it out.
He had 21 carries for 59 yards. That's horrible.
I mean, they ran for 156 total, so it wasn't like it was.
It wasn't the same, right? Cordell ran 10 for 56, which Cordell doing what Cordell does. Ritter, whatever you want to call him, ran
The
6
Riddler.
for 38 and a touchdown. And Robinson had 1 carry for 3 yards. And apparently had Hershey's kids because he had the butt flu. Is that what you said?
Yes, the butt flu.
Just the butt flu. Yeah, they ran combined. Yeah, but man, that's horrible. 21 carries, 59 yards. Ugh. And who are they playing? The Tennessee Titans. King Henry still being King Henry. That's a fact. Not a lot of touchdowns, but he still has good yardage. What's the spread on this one? Sorry.
The spread is
2.5 to Atlanta.
2.5 to Atlanta. Wow. Tough one. Not in the sense that it's tough. Like, both defenses are good. The rushing game is better for Atlanta, supposedly, even though the other Titans just don't look good this year, right? Let's agree to that. Falcons don't look any better, but they are 4-3, whereas Titans are 2-4. And you said 2.5 to Atlanta?
2.5 to Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good summation. I think what's his name for Atlanta? The kicker, Young Koo or Koo Young? I don't know how to say his name.
Young Koo.
Young Koo. I said it right the first time. I think that makes all the difference. I think Robinson, if he's no longer sick, comes out and does a good running game. I'll give it 10 Atlanta. I'll take it by 3. I mean, it's one of those games where both teams are. I don't know that you really watch this game, but you got to call it, right? So I'll go with Atlanta by 3.
I'm in a quandary because I need the Falcons to lose out to be right on the original prediction of 4 wins. I'm still amazed they got to 4 wins, by the way. Like, they are not good. Just not good.
But to keep
but
winning.
I hate the Titans. So, I should probably root for the Titans. That'll definitely cause them to lose. Just for fun, I'm going. I think Robinson's probably the difference. Robinson, 3 points. Yay.
There you go.
Does it change anything for you guys if Tannehill plays versus if he doesn't?
No.
Who's his backup?
Dude.
Will Levis from it's Will Levis is the
What's his name? The Hawaiian guy.
Malik is still there.
No, the other guy that used to be with Falcons. I thought he went to the Titans. No,
Mariota
came from
Mariota
the Titans.
came from the Titans. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. My bad. Where's he now?
Mariota?
Yeah.
That's a good.
He went to LA, then he went to Atlanta, and then
He is currently a Philadelphia Eagle.
That's right. He's an Eagle. Wow. Poor guy. He's on that quarterback show too, by the way. I think Netflix owes us a sponsorship now. Promoting
Right.
that show.
this stream brought to you by nobody, but if it was, Netflix.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm going to be boring here and go Falcons, and Falcons take the over at 3.
Oh boy.
I don't think it's going to be even this close. I don't think Tennessee's got any offense, and if Tennessee just doesn't know how to move the ball. They're not even that great in rushing this year. They're 19th in rushing yards. They're 30th in passing yards. Like, they just don't have any offense.
He still has 426 yards though. Henry. Sorry.
426 yards in 6
98
games.
carries.
I mean, yeah,
It's a little over 4 yards a carry, right? What do you
4.5, 4.3 a carry.
What do you all consider great as far as average for a running back? 5+? Obviously, right? If you're getting 5 yards a carry, that's pretty darn good.
Well, technically anything over 3.4 is you my buddy, right? Because you can technically run that 3 times and get first down. So
Right.
I think I've seen. I think it's such a misleading number, right? Because you got backs. Like the one in the backup in Atlanta, Algiers. Pollard is another example. Not a home run threat. If you run Pollard 30 times, you're probably going to get 100 yards. If you run 20 yards, he doesn't scale. You got some home run backs like Henry and ETN and other guys like that they get 3 carries, they might have 100 yards, right? Just busting those long ones. So
yeah, I get you.
But there's something to be said like that Falcons running game where they just everyone runs, right? And they're just pounding you left, right, and center. The problem for those teams is they're not dynamic, and if they get behind, they're kind of, guess what we're going to do, guys? We're going to run right, left, and middle. So the Titans, to me, their defense is bipolar, right? They've got we can't stop the run, but we can stop the pass. Is it that way, or is it the other way?
That's a good question.
They're terrible at one of them and good and great at the other one. And then Tannehill's he's at the end of the line, man. I've always liked Tannehill, but it's done. Like this team is old and it's falling apart. And really,
Henry's taking a beating.
Yeah, Henry's taking a beating, and Hopkins isn't a spring chicken either.
Well, look at this. Anything over 300 carries is not great for a running back. You've taken a beating.
Yeah, they tend to not last long after that, right?
Well, no, but every season he's been doing that, and he's still kicking. But I think he is starting to see the wear and tear, bro.
So the Titans defensively aren't really stellar on either the pass defense or the rush defense. They're about middle of the road across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. They're playing the Falcons who can't pass but can run.
Correct. Riddler's not terrible. He's 1,630 yards. He has 6 picks, 6 touchdowns, but
65%.
Riddler's not a terrible. We expected Riddler not to pass at all, and he's actually.
No,
but
having watching him,
he's 6 picks.
What's the average? 6, 5.5?
You gotta do the math on that. I don't know.
No, what's
7,
it? He's not getting 7.
Hold on.
No way.
No, where's the split? That's a splits. I'm trying to find the full.
Either way, though, 6 touchdowns.
He's getting 7.1 yards a pass or completion.
They were.
How many attempts has he?
149 attempts or 228 attempts. Sorry.
Yeah.
Now he has been sacked 20 times already, which is just a ridiculous amount of sacks. But
They're happy with him in Atlanta. I still don't think he's a good quarterback. And if the Titans, again, I think the running game for the Falcons is enough. But I can't pick the damn Falcons, so whatever I pick, they'll do the opposite. So,
I'm taking the Falcons.
yeah,
Young Koo.
we all are. All right, Young Koo to kick a field goal at the end. Yay! Good job, buddy. Next up on the schedule, we're going to talk about the Saints versus the Colts, and the Saints up by 1.
Where are they?
in Indianapolis too.
Minshew, man, had a great game last week. I felt for the boy. He almost had the Browns, but Daniel needed a win. So in the end, he lost. And Jonathan Taylor came alive.
Did he?
Yeah, he's like, I'm back.
Did he now? Let me go look at the game real quick.
On the Saints, Kamara looked good, and Carr looked about normal.
I mean, Taylor, I wouldn't call it coming alive at 18 carries, 75 yards for a 4.2 average. I mean, that's not exactly when you say coming alive. I wouldn't call that.
Oh.
I mean, when the Browns had a better running back with 11 carries and 74 yards, so
yeah, Taylor
didn't have a TD though. I mean, stat wise or fantasy wise, I would take 75 yards and a touchdown.
Yes, with my backs, I would definitely take
Minshew had 2 touchdowns rushing and 2 passing. Wow, an okay day. The Browns defense ain't nothing to snore at, right? They're pretty good.
Yeah.
With Peanut Butter Walker.
Who's starting again this week?
Quarterback, is he? Well, you know, look, the saying of the Browns are where quarterbacks go to die is still living true.
Correct.
We'll see how it goes. But anyways, in this game, this is gonna be a good one, man. I think good and bad, right? Carr to me is he's doing okay. I thought he'd have a better game last week, but oh well. Kamara is back, makes a difference. What's the spread on this one?
Saints by 1.
You know, you want to go against Minshew Magic, and then he has a pretty good game. And Taylor is back, which I think he's only going to. I mean, you're talking about a guy that came in week 5?
Yep.
6, yeah, so he's still shaking off a little rust. Once he gets that rust off, he's dangerous.
He's got a couple coats of rust on too, so it's going to, you probably don't come back 2 games and like I got it all off. So yeah.
But it's still Minshew, bro. You know, like he's a journeyman quarterback, right? He's been around how many teams?
Would you rather have Minshew or would you rather have Carr? And the fact you have to think about that long is the problem. You're right. Minshew is a backup quarterback, and so's Carr.
How many games has Minshew started this year?
last
2. He's played in 3 now. He's started 2, right?
He's got 1,187 yards for the season already. That's not bad.
he started 3 because he started against the Ravens.
Okay, so he's played in 4 and started 3.
Well, let's round up and say he has 1,200 yards for playing in 3 games. Carr has 1,600 yards. I know he's missed 1 game or something, but still, Jesus. Minshew has a better completion rate. Ugh, and the spread was what, 3?
Uno.
Actually, he started 4 games. Sorry about that. He started against Houston the week before, the second week of the season too.
Man, this is tough. Tough in the sense that Minshew Magic, it happens, right? It's real. But
he is an inspirational presence without the arm talent. That's the problem, right? He can't throw some of those throws, and people see that, and then they start creeping in. But he's so accurate and so good at the underneath stuff that he can beat you on any given Sunday. Like he's a perfect backup quarterback.
So you answer the question: Minshew or Carr?
Honestly, I would take Minshew. Now, if I'm taking him and he has to be my starting quarterback, I'm looking in the draft, right? to be clear, love the dude, love everything about him, but he can't. He can't. He'd have to have a perfect team around him, and maybe the Niners. He could maybe take them.
Well, let's look at it this way, and I'm going to talk about defense a little bit. I think New Orleans defense is the factor here, and I'll tell you what. They didn't. I know they didn't beat the Jaguars, but
They
they
put a
kind of
scare.
slowed
They
them
put a
down.
scare in us.
Yeah, I
Not
mean,
gonna
look,
lie.
Lawrence he only had 204 yards, one touchdown, no picks. Okay. Um, the running game wasn't phenomenal either. I know Etienne had 2 touchdowns, but he only had 53 yards, right? I know Lawrence ran for 59 also, but he was running for his life most of the time. Uh, I don't know, man. I think the Saints defense will make the difference here. I think you're right. Minshew is an inspirational player, and that can always make a difference on a team. But he's still a backup for a reason, right? And he's still a journeyman quarterback for a reason because he's not ever going to be a consistent quarterback. He's going to come in and rally your team for a couple of weeks, and then the starter comes back, and Minshew goes back into his box, right?
Yep.
Um, Jonathan Taylor, yes, he's back. He's a beast of a running back, but I think the New Orleans defense can stifle that. I'm going to go with New Orleans again. I know I'm going to regret it later, and I want to root for Minshew Magic, but I'm taking the Saints here.
You know what
Let's
the
cover.
difference in the Jags and the Saints last week were?
I don't know.
A pick six. And that's why Minshew generally does not turn the ball over. Carr generally does. And the way I look at it, these teams are the same. They've got a good running back, and that's coming off. I've been gone in Kamara and Taylor. They've got a backup quarterback, right? They've both got good defenses. They both got decent lines. Like these are mirror teams of each other. You could say that the Saints have a little edge on wide receiver. I would, but didn't Olave like run, I don't know, 500 miles an hour in a 35, and he's in trouble. So
I don't know.
whether he'll even, I don't even know if he'll play. So I'm gonna go with the Colts.
Here's the thing, though. You're saying that Minshew doesn't turn it over, but he has 1,187 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 4 picks.
But
Carr has
yeah,
1,600 yards, six
I,
touchdowns, and 4 picks.
he had one really
damn it,
bad
Rip!
game.
I was getting ready to say that.
He had one really bad game. So yeah,
Out of the 3 games,
out of the, I think Striker now has got him up to 5. But yeah, he had one bad game. And he threw 3 picks. Over his career, he does not turn the ball over.
yeah, but he's
And the 3
yet
picks for the
he's a
Jacksonville game.
journeyman
So
quarterback, right? And he
yeah,
was
3.
playing inspired against Jacksonville, right?
No, he was playing absolutely. Yeah, I think the Jaguars were playing inspired. They were having none of the old backup quarterback.
I'm still going with Saints.
Yeah, I'm with Rip. I'm going with the Saints, and I think it's because the Saints bring.
Thanks, Striker.
I'm just not going to pick anymore, you two. Damn it. No, I'm going the Saints for the simple fact that Minshew has been taking a lot of hits this year, and the Saints can get pressure. That is one place where they actually have some decent capability. So I think it comes down to if Minshew's under pressure, he's in trouble, and he's going to be under pressure. So,
and I think it comes down to Derek Carr seeing a Colt jersey and going, "That guy's on my team."
Yeah, really. Gold looks like blue.
It does. In the I'm going to get better right now game, the Patriots are going to go to Miami.
Oh boy, what's the spread?
9.5 to Miami.
The Dolphins, the fish.
Wow, that okay. So Belichick pulled one out of his hat last week. Okay, we'll give him that. Miami's a whole different offense. I think they'll score on the Patriots. It's just 9.5, huh? After last week's, little debacle with Philly, you're pumping the brakes a little bit, but nah, I'm gonna let it loose. I think Miami wins by 2 touchdowns. I think they come out and that offense just explodes. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on the Patriots. We all know what they're about. They do have Bill Belichick, but it's not the same team. He knows the Bills, right? I mean, they're conference, aren't they? Patriots and Bills.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, they are
So,
conference.
Interconference game. I think Miami comes in here and just kills them. Miami covers by 10.
So Waddle in or out? Because he was out last week.
Just means Tyreek gets 20 more throws his way.
Tua in or Tyreek in or out.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Pump the brakes. Somebody should have done his research.
Yeah, how many wide receivers are the Dolphins going to have this week?
You don't have Waddle or dude. If you don't have Tyreek, we got some problems. I didn't know that.
Because
Is Tyreek in or out?
Tyreek didn't practice today with a hip injury.
And
And
are
I
both
like
of
to
them
walk
listed as
back my
doubtful?
pick.
say it again, Wardy.
Are both of them listed as doubtful or just?
Both of them are listed as questionable.
Yeah.
And neither of them practice. Well, Waddle was limited at practice. Mostert missed practice. Hill missed practiced.
Oh, okay then. I need to walk it back. I mean, look.
Dub
Who is
Pats.
Tua gonna
Dub
throw
Pats.
to? I mean, the Pats are still horrible though. But again, Miami without Hill, without Waddle. I mean, now
It's
you're looking
totally
at a big
different, right?
team.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Who do they have left?
Jasecki,
Brown
who
for
plays
the
for the
Cowboys?
plays for the Patriots now. They could throw to him.
Depends how hard Tua gets hit in the head. He just might. Man, that's a tough one. Again, the thing is that we're in that place where we don't know if they're going to play or not. Right now, you're thinking, oh, a whole different game, and then Tyreek Hill ends up playing and runs for 3,000 yards on 2 carries or 2 passes. Right? Are they saying he's out? Nothing.
They're basically not saying anything other than he did not practice today.
Wow.
And they're not. And they said it was not a veteran rest day either.
Can we come back to this one 30 minutes before the game? I'm gonna roll the dice, man. I'm gonna stick with my. No, I'm not. Jesus Christ. It's a tough one, man. Well, I would roll the dice and say Miami still wins, which I believe. That they still will pull it off. The problem is
the points.
They won't cover. Yeah. I mean, now you're talking about they scrape by with a 3-point win, right? They get their defensive by back. Things are a little bit better for them, but man, without those 2 receivers, who is left? Who's left on the receiver? How's their depth chart? Is it Noah Brown with them?
Hold on, looking. We're getting in the dregs here.
Yeah, quite literally.
They got Tyreek, Braxton Berrios, Chase Claypool, and Robbie Chosen. And then if you want to go even further, we're getting far out. Like,
I think the defense. You said Ramsey's coming back.
He practiced. He was a full practice this week. So,
well, Mac Jones loves to throw picks.
So the Dolphins have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 people on the injury report. Which is Mostert, Hill, Waddle, their fullback, their left tackle's on IR, their left guard is on IR, their center is questionable, their left cornerback, their free safety, their right cornerback, and their backup right cornerback.
So what you're saying is they still have a chance. As long as Tyreek plays, they still have a chance.
Yeah, just throw it to the cheetah.
Wow. I mean, this is now getting difficult, though. Without those 2, it could be very difficult. But I think Waddle's leaning towards playing, isn't he?
Well, I mean, they've lost basically their whole secondary. Although Ramsey's supposed to come back. And that is why they play the games.
This pick got hard. I still think Miami wins this one. I just don't know if they cover. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay.
I'm thinking I'm gonna have to do the any, mini, money, mo again.
Yes. That's a very effective strategy.
I'm gonna have to go back to mascots. We got a dolphin and
a musket bearing American citizen.
American hero. Thank you very much.
America. Yeah. Again, hard, right? We can say they're not going to cover, and then Hill plays, and all things break loose, right? It's a tough one. Can I sit on it for a second?
Sure. Well, let's try. I'm going Dolphins. Dolphins 10. I figure one of the two will play, and I believe that Mac Jones will be stupid. But I could be completely wrong on this one because the Dolphins may just be too hurt.
I go back to what we've said the past couple of weeks, and that's a 9.5. Anything above 9 point, or really 8.5 point spread, it's a little risky because it's the NFL, and nobody's that bad. And the exception, obviously, is the Dolphins can put up a lot of points because they've shown that. So Dolphins win. That's not a question. Like Ripper, it's the over under. I'm gonna have to take the over on this one. I don't think. Yeah.
In Striker's defense, I'm kind of with him.
I agree too. Yeah, he's making sense on this one. And now, if we wake up on Sunday morning and everybody's in the tent, I'm going to be like, damn.
Yeah,
I think I've done. What?
But you got to know. I mean, based on today,
Yeah.
If they're planning on him being out, I still think McDaniels has enough in the playbook to still figure it out. I think that team is just too
They're
powerful.
pretty confused against Philly.
Yeah, but Philly's
got a great defense.
I don't know. Harry Potter looked lost. I agree.
I don't even know. I don't even know who you were referencing there.
What do you mean?
Is that McDaniels? Harry Potter in this case? Okay.
Correct. The glasses. Come on now. Here's my thing. The Dolphins, his playbook is what it is, right? But it's easy to look like a genius coach when you got those kind of weapons, right? Like that's like, come on, Tyreek Hill is like the varsity playing against JV with any DB.
Yeah, awesome. Andy Reid looked really smart with Hill. So,
I mean,
that play went for 30 yards. It was a 2-yard pass.
Correct. But and then you had Tyreek and Patrick Mahomes and Kel. I mean, wow. Point is, anybody can look great when you've got the talent. The true testament of a coach is when you've got to adjust and, play your backups and see what you can do. I think the problem here is Mac Jones. He likes to throw picks. I think he played well on his last game and surprised other people, but we all knew the Bills' defense isn't what it is right now with all the injuries they have.
Yeah.
I think Miami is a little bit tougher. I think it's going to be tougher. And now the biggest problem is the cover, right? Can they cover by 10 points? I've chosen pretty well against those big ones where you said when it's 10 plus, and I think I have a pretty good track record about choosing those.
I have no idea. Sure.
Well, I guess I'm gonna go with the cover, man. No, I'm not. My gut says go Miami and no cover. Okay. I'm going Miami without the cover.
We'll put like 5 out there. It's a solid pick right now. And again, if you wake up on Sunday and you see everybody's playing, you're gonna be like, damn.
Well, I got 2 things going for me. 1, Tyreek and Waddle may not play, and 2, Striker picked the over.
Correct.
I mean, over under, I would go against me every time, but my record is pretty even to you guys, so hush.
True that.
Okay, we got the Jets and the Giants with the Jets favored by 3.
Oh boy. Giants are not playing an interdivision game. So I'm gonna go with they lose. Battle of
this is the City Cup, right?
Yeah, this is the City Cup, the New Jersey, East Rutherford, New Jersey Cup specifically.
Is that like sardines? Is that what you get if we're winning that one?
Yeah, sure.
Oh. What is Uncle Rico? So is Uncle Rico happy, sad? I don't.
He's still rolling with the Jets. I haven't talked to him yet this week, so.
Damn it.
I don't know how the Jets do last week. Did they even play last week?
I think they played bye.
He's probably still happy.
They did not play last week, and they actually are still probably high from the win over the Eagles the week before.
Correct.
So he's
I
probably
know.
running a hell of a high right now.
Well, I mean, he's got money that he'll blow pretty soon.
Nice.
Not on this game though. I'm going with the Jets on this one. What's the spread before I even say that?
3.
32 points.
3.
Oh, yeah.
3.
70 points for the Jets.
Yes. Nice. They cover. I'm going with the Jets on this one. Not much to say. A battle of New York, battle of the city, whatever you want to call it. I think the Giants played well against the Commandos only because
It's the Commandos.
interdivision, so on and so forth. The NFC East, good stuff.
Who was the court? It wasn't Daniel Jones last week, right?
No, it was the other guy. Now they're talking about what are they talking about? A controversy?
Yeah, because he won.
Well, the controversy gets put to bed when they remind you how much they paid Daniel Jones.
Yeah, great defense is going to make bad quarterbacks look bad. So I'll go with the Jets, and which means the Jets by 4. Same for you.
Yep.
Oh,
so
going down.
this is to me, this is a tough game because it's the over-under is 36 points, which means it's going to be whoever screws up first.
Well, they don't actually know they're only going to score 36 points. They're just predicting that.
Well, but I mean, Vegas has some clue, right? So I'm going to go the Jets, but I think I'm going to take the under on this one. I'm going to go Jets by 2.
They don't cover?
I don't think they cover. I think it's going to be a 2021 game or something like that.
And you might be right. It's not interdivision, but it's that whole city thing, right? But nah. It depends. Who's playing? Is it Daniel Jones or the other guy?
It's Tyrod. Tyrod will be playing.
No. Tyrod. Another journeyman quarterback.
Which, to be fair, he's the better of the 2 quarterbacks, but I think the Jets' defense is enough. So.
There you go. A Jet outruns a Giant.
Correct. Oh, that's very good. Very good. Unless the Giant catches the Jet.
But a Giant can swing its club and knock the Jet out of the sky.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. My boys go to play the Steelers.
Steelers are a plucky team, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, they're finding ways to win, man. Their defense is really what's doing it for them. Didn't what's his name Watt have a pick 6 or something last game?
He got something of significance.
Something of significance. I like it. He did. I
think he won the game basically, whatever he did.
Yeah, he did not have a pick 6, but
I thought he had one. But I guess
did he have a fumble rumble?
Trying to find that out. It's not as easy to find that as you'd hope.
He had an interception?
He had 1 tackle and 1 pass deflected and no QB hits last game. So I'm not sure what he did.
Maybe he flexed on him and they freaked out.
Maybe it wasn't Watt. I could have sworn I thought they said Watt, but I could have sworn I saw Steelers taking.
There were no points off of special or off of turnovers directly, but there was a fumble recovery by the Steelers. Isaac Sumalo.
Good old Sumalo.
They're still a plucky team. That defense is good. Obviously, we know their coach is good. He makes adjustments with whatever he has. They did get back a receiver this week too, right? Johnson's back.
Oh, you know what? TJ Watt did have an interception. I'm sorry, I didn't scroll down far enough. So there you go. That's what you saw about TJ.
So I wasn't on gummies.
I didn't say that.
Oh, I can't say that on comms, right?
Correct.
But Gummy Guy's back. Just saying.
It was the first play of the second quarter, or first play of the second half. Sorry.
Nice. This game, they are still going to be pretty rowdy. I think that Lawrence seems. How's your O-line, Wardy? Because it seems like he's on the run a lot. Are those design runs, or he's running for his life?
So last game, the Raiders decided not to cover him, and they thought his knee was hurt, and he was like, "I'm good. I'm 24. I'm fine." and so he just took off. Like he wasn't actually under. So the answer to your question is our line's bad. He is under duress, but during the Raiders game, he wasn't. He had plenty of time, and those runs were, you guys are in this look, I'm running. And Etienne was also running, and then for whatever reason, we got up like 27-9, and we decided let's go to sleep now.
I like the Steelers. They are plucky. They're finding ways to win. Their defense definitely has some dynamic characters in it, but I think the offense for the Jaguars is going to be a little much for them. Don't rely on Ridley though. I don't even know who that guy is anymore. I deleted him from my contacts, by the way. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not bitter, but I do think that the Jaguars' offense is going to be a little much. I think Etienne is on fire right now. I think he's only going to continue to be on fire as long as he stays healthy, right? I definitely think the Whoa, what's the
Jags
spread
2.5.
before I? 2.5.
2.5.
I'm gonna take the Jags by 3 on this one. I think they're a little too much. I think Sunshine will do good for me. I think Etienne, the Frenchman, tears it up. You can rely on Kirk, but really, that guy, I don't know who that guy is.
So do you think that's a bad thing?
What, did Ridley's get to me?
No, the fact of what they're doing with, because he's not forcing the ball. Ridley's getting a lot of double teams, which leaves Evans or Ingram and Kirk and single.
How many targets did Ridley have last week? He only caught one ball for 5 yards.
He didn't have a lot of targets. I watched the game, and he didn't have many.
He was only targeted 4 times last week.
Okay, well that's because the defense took him out of the game then.
Yeah.
Well, but the week before he had 8 targets, 4 receptions for 30 yards. So I mean,
so what you're saying is Calvin is no longer the answer.
I'm saying if you want to trade him, now is not the time to get any value on your return.
Yeah.
You might be better off just releasing him.
Again, man, the Frenchman, I think Lawrence throws some balls on. He obviously isn't doing too bad. He has 8 touchdowns and 3 picks, 1,643 yards. Steelers are plucky, but I'm going to go with the Jaguars here covering.
Yeah, but back to my question. Would you, I mean, if the defense is taking him away, it's good that he's not throwing into double coverage with him. So,
he's done good all season. He only has 3 picks.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I like to see on it. So, I'm going to also take the Jags by 3. Too many weapons. Pittsburgh does worry me. They're TJ Watt may kill our quarterback. That's always a worry. He's a premier talent, and I don't think the second thing that drives me nuts. I know we're doing a lot of analytics, and I love analytics, but there's a time and place where analytics do not make sense. For example, in that Raiders game, or in the Saints game with the former Raider, there was a 4th down, and so first play 8 yards, second play 1 yard, third play half a yard, right? 4th down and half a yard, they decide to go for it on like the 48. We're up by 8. There's 6 minutes left. Punt the ball, and of course they don't. They get stuffed, and then the Saints are energized, right? And then they march down the field and they score the touchdown. They get the 2-point conversion. It's a tie ball game. Fortunately, Lawrence says, "I got this," and then goes down the field and scores. My point is that analytics is great, but not all situations are equal situations. In that situation, punt the ball, make him drive the entire length of the field. And Doug Peterson isn't that kind of coach. He's I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it this ballsy way. And my fear is things like TJ Watt, you're just going to have to block this guy, and he's not. Like, chip. There's nothing wrong with chipping the guy. So that's my statement. Love the fact that he has big huevos, but there's a time and place.
Watt is definitely a playmaker, and you do have to account for him on the defense.
So the one thing I will say to that, Wardy, is I think you're 100% right on Watt. I think where you're different is an argument you made weeks past, which is that Trevor gets the ball out quickly. The Jaguars move the ball quickly. So if Watt can't get to the quarterback because the ball's out in under 3 seconds, he's not going to be as effective. So
2.5.
Yeah, right. So I think it's Jags and Jags by 3. I don't think it's. I mean, I'm actually kind of surprised the line is that close. I mean, the offensive lines are basically middle of the road, 17th and 18th respectively, and I'm more fearful of Josh Allen and that rush than I am of TJ Watt.
Well, and we've got a 4-game winning streak, and those tend to wear on you. So I'm worried about this one because it's this one by and then the Niners. Although the Niner game looks a lot more palatable than it did a few weeks ago. So
Yep.
that Jags.
So Jags. That's
I
what
got
we'll
to
call
step
them.
away for a second, gentlemen, so I will be right back.
All right. So our next game on the docket are the Eagles playing the Commanders.
Interdivision game. We all know how those go. They do. NFC East versus NFC East are usually pretty good games, pretty close games. What's the spread?
Eagles by 6.5.
I think the Eagles are too much for the Commandos. I mean, the Commandos aren't horrible, but I mean, they lost against the Giants. Let's be honest. How it hasn't done too bad. He has almost 1,800 yards, 9 touchdowns, 7 picks. That is a lot of picks, though. Robinson, they shot me in the buttocks guy. Uh, there's not much I can say here.
I'm all better now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cut it short and go with it. Philly wins this one, and they cover. I think they're way, way, way too much for the Commandos this year. I don't think the Commandos can keep up with them, regardless of what they do or what they have. Fantasy relevance wise, other than Robinson, who you're gonna pick maybe as a flex player, there's not much going on for the Commandos. The Eagles, 7.
Do you think there's something wrong with the Eagles?
In what sense?
The fact that they don't look explosive.
They're 6-1, man. Listen,
I mean, we said the same. I said the same thing with the Chiefs.
they have to look explosive, or they just have to win games.
I don't think teams like this you're not looking at what they're doing as far as winning games, because they're going to win games and they're going to get the playoffs. The Eagles are going to make the playoffs. What you're looking for is what they're going to do in the playoffs. And right now, I don't know that who's the favorite in the NFC. It was the 49ers until 2 weeks ago.
I think it still is the 49ers, to be honest. Look, it's what, we're week 7, week 8, whatever week we're in. It's still early on, man. You still have what, 10 games left?
Correct.
Or whatnot.
Well,
it's
10.
a lot of games.
Yeah.
A lot of potential to still grow as a team. Some pieces were there, some pieces were added. Still got Hurts doing his thing. He's thrown for 9 touchdowns, ran for 6. He does have a higher pick count at 8. The team is still there, bro. I think honestly, the offense. How explosive do you want them? Is my question. Like, is it about winning games or is it about looking explosive? And I get what you're saying, but if a team keeps finding a way to win and keeps playing as a team and grows as a team, where they're at right now isn't where they're at in 10 weeks, right? I mean, I don't think the Philly has peaked.
Well, my point is that if you get down, which is it's inevitable, it happens, right? The Eagles last year would hit Smith or something on a deep route and catch back up. He's not even he had 22 touchdowns last year. He's not even on pace for that.
Still has 809 yards though. Brown does.
Who Brown?
Yeah. 52 receptions, 809 yards. That's mucho, my friend.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I mean, again, their defense is good. Their running game is good. The question is can they keep, which they couldn't last year either. Can they keep up with the Kansas Cities? Can they keep up with the other teams? I'm just asking it because Striker's away and I don't know what.
Well, I mean, are you expecting
I'm back,
big
Gordy.
blowouts?
Okay. Huh?
Is that why you're saying they're not explosive? Because they're not beating people by 30, 40 points?
No, it's
They beat the Dolphins 31-17.
correct. Yeah. That they look good in that game. I guess that's the game. So yeah,
I don't think that the Eagles have peaked though. I think they're going to be better come playoff time. It's a whole different team.
yeah, that's it. Okay, go ahead, Schrager.
So I think the Eagles win this one, but I think because we've got the NFC, a matchup of two NFC East teams, and we go back to the Giants Commanders game last week, right? I don't think the Eagles by 3 is actually about where I've got them. I mean, that's about what they were the first time they played the Commanders, right? They beat the Commanders, but it was a close game and it was a high scoring game. I think the Commanders don't have the talent to win this game, but I also don't think I don't think they're going to be put away. If you go back and look at that Eagles Commanders game that actually went to overtime for the Eagles to win. I mean, AJ Brown had 9 receptions for 175 and 2 touchdowns. Hurts threw for almost 319 and 2 touchdowns and no picks. Like, I mean, those weren't bad plays, and yet
What week was that?
week 4.
I think the Philly's good enough to cover the 7, or what is it, 6.5? So 7 points.
6.5.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
sticking with Philly.
I think if I was closer to you guys in the records, I might think this differently, but I've got to try and figure out a way to make it up. And I think this is a game where you guys are. I think the over is not the right call here, but Lord knows I've been wrong enough before on the over under that I'm not going to be betting spread anytime soon. That's for damn sure.
keep your money in your pocket.
Nice.
The next game on the docket is the plucky Texans versus the Panthers.
Battle of the rookie quarterbacks.
There's no battle here. That battle has been fought and lost.
Panthers look horrible. They really do. They don't look great at all. I know Sanders is hurt. I think Hubbard right now is the better running back, anyways.
Hubba chubba.
Thielen is doing okay, but again, Bryce Young against this defense, don't like the matchup for him. Now the Texas defense isn't like phenomenally great, but they're not bad, man. And
Thielen's not doing okay. Thielen's doing really good.
Well, he's got 4 touchdowns.
He's got like 20 fantasy points for 3 of the last 4 weeks.
He's come alive in the last 3 weeks.
He's coming alive.
He's an old man. He's good for 3 or 4 games. Either way, I think the Texans are the better team here at 3-3. Carolina's 0-6, and they don't look great. Texans are plucky, and they're still winning games. They obviously aren't going for the number 1 pick. The Panthers are looking for a redo at quarterback. They're looking for that number 1 pick so they can pick a new rookie quarterback. And there's no exchanges in the NFL draft.
Oh, you can't. You can't return receipt.
Yes. I'm going to go with the Texans. So what's the spread?
3.
Probably, what, 3 points? I figured. Texans cover. I'm going to say they win by a touchdown.
Texans by 7.
See.
I love the Panthers coming out and scoring 14 on the Dolphins and getting buried. I want to do well. I thought they were going to do better this year. He's just not. It's a bad team. This could be their win. Like, they're probably not going to go 0-0 all of them. This could actually be it. It's not a divisional game. The Texans don't have the Jaguar kryptonite going on or anything like that. This could be the one they win, but when I look at the teams, the Texans are superior. Collins and Thielen basically, cancel each other out, and then Stroud's a way better talent at quarterback, and the Texans defense has played lights out. So, I'm gonna do Texans. I'm gonna do Texans in 4.
I think the biggest wild card here could be Hubbard. I think if he can get that ball rolling and have a good running game,
Chubba,
it could make the difference. Yeah, Chubba Hubbard. It could make the difference, but because the Texans don't have a running game right now. Pierce nor Singletary are doing anything special.
Correct.
Pierce has 97
Buddy
attempts and
joined your
281
channel.
yards. That's horrible. Nico Collins is doing okay. Tank Dell is coming back this week, which should make a difference. Schulte is doing all right over there as well, doing well at tight end. So I think Stroud has more targets, and man, he has 9 touchdowns and 1 pick. Like,
Yeah, he's
that's pretty
competent.
good.
He's competent, right? Like he's not making and he's a rookie, dude. Like he's not making mistakes. Just yeah.
Bryce Young is still playing like he's lost, and you know what? It may be his first year. Maybe he changes it next year. Who knows? But I'm still going to stick with the Texans covering.
Yep. Striker.
Yeah, so I think the only thing I would question is the new Panthers offensive or new Panthers play caller, I guess is the right way to describe him. Because what's his name? The Panthers head coach gave a play calling after week 6, and they let a new guy take over. Which maybe they score a few more points, but when you can't stop anybody, does it really matter? They're not losing games by close. They're I mean, they literally have lost one game by 3 points to the Saints, and then the next closest one is almost a touchdown, a mixed extra point away from being a touchdown, so 8 points versus the Vikings. So I'm Panthers, and I'm Panthers over. I do think there are 2 games later on in the season that they have a good chance with the Bears and the Titans to get a win out of. So I don't think they get.
You just said Panthers and Panthers over.
I mean Texans and Texans over.
All right.
Thank you. I was talking the Panthers, and then I went Texans. So Texans and Texans over. I mean, I could see it probably greater, but I'll take 4 because why not?
Doesn't matter.
So we gonna let me kick off the homer pick here?
Sure.
So it's
Hold on,
Seahawks Browns, right? Oh,
give me a second. Yeah, Seahawks Browns.
Seahawks Browns. Seahawks have a 3.5 point line. I think this game is going to be close. I think we're going to end up with a turnover, kind of solving this game. It is in Seattle. It is a later start. It's an afternoon start. The weather's supposed to be actually pretty decent, but I just don't see how Cleveland does what they need to do against the Seahawks. The Seahawks are actually a pretty solid defensive team in the grand scheme of things too. I mean, their scoring points are tight. They're not giving up a ton of points. I mean, they're top 10 or right around the cusp of the top 10 for both. And the big difference, honestly, is that Geno is good under pressure, and whether it's Walker or Watson, it doesn't much matter. I mean, their passing capability goes way down when they're under pressure. And the Seahawks have shown they can actually rush the passer this year. So Seahawks by 4. I think it's probably going to be closer to a touchdown, though. In Geno, we trust. Oh, and in Frank Clark, we trust because he's re-signing with the Seahawks for the rest of the year.
Speaking of 90-year-old men, Seahawks and Seahawks 4.
All right, I'm back. Well, Bell was talking to me. See how that goes. Seahawks versus where are we at? Seahawks Cleveland. Striker already did his homer pick. Obviously, probably said they covered by 1 million.
100 million.
Nice.
$1 billion.
Browns defense is not horrible. Neither is the defense for the Seattle Seahawks. Big question here is whose offense is going to be less sucky. Watson is not playing. Peanut butter jelly time is.
I don't know if that's a loss.
PJ's going to start this week. Deshaun's going to.
So I don't know if that's a step down or not.
Did you catch that? PJ is going to start this week.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, listen, quarterbacks go to die there, but if you're like a no-name quarterback, you usually have like an okay few games in Cleveland. And who else but a guy with a name Peanut Butter Jelly Time? I mean, that's his
Like
that's
Brian
his motto
Stipe,
now.
right? Like that guy had like
and
4 games.
Kozar.
Yeah.
Well, Bernie wasn't really.
Well, Bernie had like a solid decade.
Yeah. The Bernie curse. That's what it is. Again, Seahawks is everybody healthy? Striker, Metcalf, Lockett.
Metcalf is healthy, but there's
He did-
some other issues there, so we'll just leave it at that. On the defensive side, they've got some injuries, and the offensive line is finally healing a little bit. But
Other issues. We talking personal?
I mean, they've got a lot more injuries on both Wagner and Jordan Brooks. Were
No, he's
questionable
talking about
injuries.
Metcalf.
Oh yeah, Metcalf is just he's disgruntled with the targets he's getting this year. Is how I would describe it.
So diva, like every other number one receiver.
Yep.
Except
all
Calvin
crash
Ridley
targets.
Jr. He's not disgruntled.
He's dead to me. We're no longer talking about him for the rest of the show.
He's just happy to be on the playing on the field.
Calvin needs to go gamble somewhere. So, anyways, speaking of less, sucky offenses, Ford has been running pretty well. What's his name? Oh
Hunt.
my God, Hunt.
Well, so Ford's not going to play this week.
Oh,
if
wow.
that makes a difference.
It does make a difference because Cooper hasn't done it. And the receiving game was horrible. Even with peanut butter jelly time, it's not great. It's a tough game to call, though, man. Like, you don't. It's really not offensively. Defensively, though, the Browns are something good, man. Geno Smith has been doing okay. I mean, 68%, 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4 picks. He's doing what he's doing, making pizza, scoring touchdowns.
Oh, that's funny. Making pizza. That's funny.
It's Geno. I'm going to go. What's the spread? 3, you said?
3.5 for the Hawks.
I'm going to go. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to go with Striker on this one. And the Hawks cover by 7.
Yeah. Number one defense. Top Browns.
Yeah. They don't have an offense.
They don't need an offense.
And Seattle was what, like the number 4 defense?
Have you seen footage of Myles Garrett? Myles Garrett leaped over the line and blocked a field goal to win that game. They don't need offense. They got Myles Garrett. They're going to be like, just kill Geno. Just he's going to leap over. Geno
The
did.
number one defense that allowed the Indianapolis Colts to put up 38 against them.
Still number
Tell
one
him,
defense.
Strikey. You tell him.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Hey, look. A Seahawk is a stronger mascot than whatever the Browns are. You tell me Cleveland Browns.
It's a color. It's this color spectrum. Like you can't. What's the Seahawk going to do? The Seahawk's going to hit the wall that's brown and then break its neck.
I have a niece that calls Doo-Doo's Browns, so
Gotcha.
I'm going with the Seahawks beating the Doo-Doos.
I mean, there's a reason they say taking the Browns to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, it is true. But this week it's going to be the Browns, and you're going to have visions of Myles Garrett.
Caca! The Hawks.
I don't think a Seahawk says caca, but I'm gonna take it.
Tatuki,
and
Tatuki, and Kaka, Kaka.
I couldn't do a Seahawk. I don't know how they sound.
It's probably like sploosh. It lands in the water, right?
All birds sizzle on the grill.
That is correct. All right. Our next game of the week is the Chiefs waylaying the Broncos.
We say that, right? And we had a week of it was last week like the big week of upsets, and it's just not going to happen anymore in the NFL.
Sure, it happens 2 or 3 weeks a year.
Okay, so this is not one of them, right? Because if
Who
it is,
knows?
Chiefs are in trouble.
Yeah, it's...
They're 6-1, so you obviously know they're beatable. The problem with the Broncos is they lack something called a defense. I think they're ranked like close to last, right, in the NFL.
Yeah, that defense took a dive real quick. And their offense apparently likes to alternate bad performances with decent performances.
Problem is, last season the defense had to do everything for Denver, and then this year's like, yeah, you know what?
We took
We're
a year
just
off.
leaving.
Yeah.
I retire. They had 11 retirements and 3 transfers and all this other good stuff. Nobody wants to play defense for the Broncos anymore. They're like, all right, you paid all this money for Wilson. Let him prove it. He's not doing too bad either, right? 13 touchdowns, 4 picks. I know Sutton's having a pretty good game. I have him on one of my leagues, and he's done 2 weeks of pretty good points. Problem is they have no run game and no defense. On the other side, they have Mahomes.
The curse of Melvin Gordon.
There you go. On the other side of the field, they got Mahomes, and I don't think you need to go any further than that, to be honest.
No, but last week was the first week that he actually turned it on, and I wonder if it was had anything to do with Hardman coming back.
I mean, maybe, right? He found a target that he trusts and so on and so forth. Yeah, sure. You can say that, but does it really matter? You still have Kels. It's not like they're 4-3 right now or anything like that. 6-1. Again,
You can
I'm
beat
gonna
a team more better.
yes. What's the spread?
The Chiefs by 7.
Wow. It's almost like Vegas is setting you up for failure here, right? Oh, 7? Yeah, they can do it. They'll win by 10 points. And then Denver scores 32,000
Well,
points.
and you know that the other side of that is Mahomes plays with his food, so he might be up by 14 and go, yeah, we're good, guys. Let's take the second half off like they did against the Chargers.
Well, you man, I'm not saying trap game, but it almost smells like an upset. But it's Mahomes, bro. Come on now. Mahomes or anybody on the Denver team. You can have 8 Denver fantasy stats. Pick them.
Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, Mahomes, or I'm sorry, the Chiefs cover, not just Mahomes, because he does throw to certain people. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs covering on this one. I know it's 7 as a spread. We'll go by 10 points. It's a big point difference, but I know the Broncos. What's his face, the old man that should be in Sweet Pickles retirement bus, Wilson. I know he's not looking too bad, but I don't think it's enough to keep up with him. I think defensively, if you can't do anything to Mahomes and he's just playing pitch and catch with Kels and now Harden and whoever else, he's going to kill you. He doesn't have to keep you. You don't need a defense on the Chiefs side. You just got to keep up with Mahomes, and Mahomes is going to outscore him by 10.
And it's a mile high. It's a mile high. The ball's lighter than air. I'm following along. Chiefs 10.
Wow. Striker, please don't say
Yeah,
Chiefs.
I don't know. I don't know how Denver even gets close on this one. I mean, they played 2 weeks ago, but I mean, there's just too much talent on one side of the ball and no talent on the other. And I mean, maybe if the Denver defense was halfway decent, I think this was
First
a
of
different
all,
game.
I had to stop us because they still have talent. And they're still super athletes. It's not a comparable talent to the talent. I mean, let's face it, Travis Kelce is one of the, if not the best tight end in football. Patrick Mahomes is one of, if not the best quarterback in football. That's what is really setting the difference. It's not that it's not that the Broncos aren't full of a bunch of professional teams that are great athletes. They're just not the best in their position.
Right. Well, and okay, fair enough. And I wasn't trying to say the Broncos.
Yeah, just in case the 4 people that watch the show, they go, wait a minute,
I mean, you got 10 viewers there, so
10 people that watch the show.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, so to me, it's all relative, right? Like the Broncos would still go out and beat most college football teams. And I say most because there are some, high-end SEC teams that probably would give them a run for their money, but you still
and let me tell you, that's a fallacy. That is not true. Most the best you could put together, they used to put together college all-star teams to play a single NFL team, and they had to discontinue it because it got so bad. That's the difference.
I didn't know about that, but
Yeah,
I'll just say in the last few years, college has definitely stepped up their.
Yeah, you could bring the national champions, and you could play the worst team in the league, and the worst team in the league would dismantle them. And I mean, it's easy to think about because how many people are going to get drafted from the national champions? They get what on a good year, 5 to 10.
Well, I mean, Bama's sent 10 to 12 a couple of times. So, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
That's a lot of players on the team that do not.
Yep.
Are we still talking about losing teams?
We are.
Wardy got on his soapbox for a bit, so I'm letting him go.
Nice.
So you have to pick Chiefs by 10.
Chiefs by 10.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kansas City.
Yeah.
I've let the whole barbecue eating state down.
See.
We got the Ravens and the Cardinals. Harley, are you still awake? We can
The
go.
Ravens and the Cardinals.
She has been catching
Ghosts?
No, Pokemon. And she did say in Dobbs we trust, so I think she's still around.
I guess I'll start with this one. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because I do not believe in Dobbs or the Cardinals. They're a plucky little team, but a plucky little team that's 1 in what, 5?
Mm-hmm.
1 in 6. Horrible. Plucky or not, they ain't winning games. They're looking to get that that high draft pick to replace Dobbs. They have no running game. I don't know what the backup name is, DeMarcario, or I don't know how to say his name, but he's not great. Mr. 50-50, Dobbs ain't really throwing it to him. What's left, right? You saw how the Ravens played last week. Hell of a team. I don't think that the Dolphins, whatever this team is, little Cardinal bird, has a team that can actually stop Lamar Jackson. So, to keep it short and sweet, what's the spread?
It is the Ravens by 8.5.
Well, a Raven would definitely be the Cardinals. So I'm going to go with the Ravens covered by 10.
Is that in any way based in reality? Like, you know that?
Wow, Ravens a bigger. Yeah, Cardinals a little red bird.
Raven's a big bird. Cardinals a small bird.
I think
go
when I
little
said
peoples.
caca, I
It
had
was
the
a
wrong
legit
bird.
question.
Instead of
I
Raven,
didn't.
it's
I didn't.
caca.
Oh.
That was a lot of rumble bumble. But yes, the Ravens win by 10.
Yeah. Lamar. So I wonder if games like they had last week will actually like how that carries over. Like I never understand that. Like everything went right last week against a solid Lions team, right? When you overlook this team, again, they're pros and they're not supposed to, but we all know they're humans and things like this happen. So, questionable there. I think the Ravens will cover. They're way more talented than the Cardinals. Like you said, Cardinals are looking to try to. They're rooting on the Panthers to win 1 or 2 games so they can get the first overall pick. The Ravens.
So before we go on, the Ravens on average are 25 inches in length and weigh about 2.6 pounds. Cardinals are, on the other hand, 8 to 9 inches in length and weigh about 2 ounces.
Holy crud!
Caca wins.
so it ain't close.
All right, chat, you heard that. Cardinals
just
going
like
down.
Just like the game ain't going to be close either. I think this is a game where Dobbs realizes it's his last game and gets into his head because Kyler's supposed to be back after this one. And so I don't see how.
Oh,
I just,
worse.
yeah, I don't see that they're going to be able to do anything. And so, yeah, Ravens by 10. I think the ghost of Lamar Jackson is going to become the live part of Lamar Jackson and just beat the living hell out of him.
So basically, when we can't figure it out, you just go by the what bird beats the other bird.
Correct. Or what animal beats the other animal?
Yes, or guns, because we did have a
Musket.
musket carrying guy.
What bird beats the color spectrum?
Welcome to the sports show where we pick winners by their mascot.
Yeah.
It's a new trend.
Thanks, Speedy Dragon, for the lurk. Okay. Our next game is going to be the Bengals playing the 49ers.
Is Joe Burrow back, or is he just pretending to be back?
You have to ask Joe Cool that.
Let's be honest. 49ers lost to the Vikings. They're definitely a good team, period, right? It wasn't like the Vikings showed anything or exposed anything that we're going to be like, oh, no, right? This is something. Nah, man. All they did was anger the Vikings.
Well, they concussed Purdy and made him throw 2 picks.
Who's the backup?
Sam Darnold.
Oh, boy. Well, does it matter? I mean, let's be honest. The Bengals have no offense.
We all said this last week when the Vikings ran over them.
Well, is Purdy out? Or is
whoa. The Bengals have no offense. They haven't scored a lot of points, but that doesn't mean they don't have any offense. They just haven't been able to put the ball in the end zone.
Say that again.
I mean, I'll tell you, my metric sites have them ranked pretty high in terms of offense.
I get it, but how many games have we seen Joe Burrow do great? One.
How many games do we think Joe Burrow's actually been healthy? one,
Correct.
maybe two.
100%. Is he healthy though?
I don't think he's got any. I think he played one good game with not healthy.
You know that scene from Friday Night Lights where they're giving the running Booby
Booby.
Miles the shot? That's what they did to Burrow in the lock. Look, we need a win, guy. We can't start like this. We need you to go out there and just take one for the team. It's like, all right, you paid me all those millions of dollars. Fine. And he went out there and had a good one. I don't know if that's true, and I'm just kidding.
Is it the Paul Walker in Varsity Blues? That same analogy?
Correct.
Shooting up his knee.
So I don't know. If he's healthy. Burrows can definitely make damage. The fact that they don't have Purdy on the other side is one thing, but Purdy or not, you still have Ayuk. You still have. I don't know if Debo's back yet or not.
Nope.
McCaffrey is definitely there.
Yep.
So hand it off to McCaffrey 40 times. He'll get you a win. I still think the 49ers defense is going to be too much. I think they come out here and do what they got to do, and I think the Bengals end up 3-4. What's the spread? Just for good measurement?
3.5. Niners.
Niners by 7. Just too much for the Bengals. Especially with we got to go kill somebody because the Vikings made us look foolish kind of thing.
So I don't know if a 49er can take out a Bengal Tiger, but I would like to think that they could. And I mean, to me, the Niners, they lost the first one. That's an accident. The second one's a trend. This team is too good to drop 3 in a row. I don't care who the opponent is, right? I think this is my game of the week to watch. Obviously, watching my own team throttle the Steelers, but this is the game of the week to watch as far as I'm concerned. I think it'll be a good one. Niners by 7.
Yeah, I want the Bengals. I mean, besides the whole NFC West thing, I think the Bengals are probably better primed coming off a bye. I just don't see it. And I don't care if it's Sam Darnold. I don't care who it is. Ayuk is still a top wide receiver. Jajuan Jennings, or however you pronounce his name, is still a top wide receiver. Kittle, McCaffrey. They've just got too much talent on the offense. And they've got a halfway decent defense to go with it. So I don't see how the Niners don't win this, and I am going to take the over. Niners by 7, 4, doesn't matter. It's the over, right?
Yeah.
So.
The only concern I have in this game is that the Vikings just expose the 49ers defense, right, with that pass game. Because, I mean, they were on fire with the passing. Addison was doing very well. And if that's the case, and they are weak on the pass, then what will a healthy Burrow, if he's healthy, and the receivers he have do? If he's healthy. That could be a factor, but I still think the Niners win.
Well, and Schreiger's kicking on the Niners. They've got elite players at multiple levels on that defense, right? They've got it at line in Bosa. They've got it at linebacker and Warner, and they've got it in their backfield. So they've got individual players. I don't know why. Like Bosa's been eliminated. I don't know if it's just because they're putting 2-3 guys on. Like I don't know what's going on, but they haven't seen as ferocious as they have in the past on the pass rush. But the Bengals line's bad. Like that's the flip side is certain teams can do certain things because of personnel. Like if you've got a solid offensive line, you can stop people without having to chip. The Bengals don't have that. So yeah, you might be right. We're going Niners across the board, though, right?
Yeah. So there was a stat that came out of that Vikings Niners game that shocked the heck out of me when they said it, which is they did not allow a sack all night to the Niners. And I mean, it shows if you go back and watch the tape of that game or watch even the highlights of that game, Cousins was never under pressure. Like they did not, they basically were one of the top pressured allowed teams last weekend, and it showed. And I just don't see the Bengals covering that. I think that's going to be the difference right there. So
there you go.
I can't believe they've actually put this game on Sunday night.
Oh boy.
Well, and the funny thing is do you know how many sacks they've had the rest of the year? They gave up
The
2 to Chicago, 3 to the Chiefs, 2 to the Panthers, 4 to the Chargers, 2 to the Eagles, and 2 to the Bucks. So every other game they've given up two more sacks, and then the Niners come in town and they give up 0.
right.
Is that your line got better, or is that the Niners can't rush the passer all of a sudden? I don't know.
Do you believe
I mean-
miracles?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I do not. The Bears at the Chicago's.
When does the NFL start
At the
flexing
Chargers.
schedules?
Huh?
When do they start flexing? Because man, this game could have been flexed.
They should have been able to flex this game if they wanted to. They just would have had to make a decision a couple of weeks ago.
This is going to be a very low ratings game, I think. I mean, being it's the only game I'm fine, but honestly, I mean, I like watching Sunday Night Football, but this isn't one I want to watch.
You don't want to see the Bears.
What?
I'm just saying the Bears.
I
How-
do like watching what's his face.
How about the Herberts?
I like watching Herbert, but again, not really excited about this game. However, for the sake of having to pick a losing team to beat the
The
other losing
Chargers
team,
are up. Are supposed to be favored by 8.5.
wow. Is Fields playing? Or the other guy playing? The guy from where? West Kentucky State? South Tech?
Fields is doubtful and did not practice Wednesday, so I would be surprised if he plays.
Wow. You know what then? That just means that the Bears will score some points. And you said the spread was what?
8.5.
8.5.
I don't see that. I don't. I see West Virginia Votech School of Welding quarterback rallying the Bears a little bit and keeping this game kind of interesting. I know what's his name, Foreman, did a pretty good little job at running the ball right last week. I think the Bears keep it close. I think the Chargers still win this one. I just don't think they cover. I think they win it with Dicker the kicker, get them a little field goal win. So I'm gonna go with the Chargers winning by 3, not covering.
I think the Chargers are going to beat the dog snot out of the Bears. So Chargers by 10.
Wow, the dog snot. It's a lot of snot.
Yeah. So I think the Chargers 2-4 record is a little weird because they've lost to the Dolphins, they've lost to the Chiefs, and they've lost to the Cowboys. And none of those are terrible losses. They lost 36-34 to the Dolphins, 20-17 to the Cowboys, and they did get shellacked by the Chiefs 31-17, but I mean they're not bad. The
It
problem
wasn't a shellacking either. They were up. They were down 24-17.
Yeah. But they can't. The problem is they can't stop anybody, and that's okay because I mean the Bears, they aren't scoring a ton of points other than their 2 wins. Their 2 wins they put up high points, but they were against the Commanders and the Raiders, and those aren't barn burner teams. I think if it's a shootout, the Chargers win, and I don't think it's going to be a low scoring game. So I'm going to go Chargers, and I'm going to take the over, which makes me a little nervous to say, but we're going to do it.
All I need is the Chargers to win by 7. Go Striker and Wardy.
And that's true.
Did I
The
take 2
Chargers
wins and
defense
no
might be
cover?
bad enough to make the Bears backup quarterback look good.
I think I took 2 wins and no covers, huh? Chargers, and I know I took someone else earlier, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Crazy times,
The Dolphins.
You got the Dolphins winning and not covering.
crazy times.
Actually,
yeah,
you've got 3 because you got the Bills winning and not covering either.
wowzers.
All right, and our final, the Monday night game, the Raiders versus the Lions.
Well, Lions are going to come out a little Like, oh, we had a bad game and let's go out there and just beat on someone. Perfect game for that. The Raiders aren't going to stop the Lions pass game. Fact. They probably won't stop the Lions run game. Fact. The Lions are coming out of a very frustrating game where they got the tar beat out of them. So they're going to come out and play some real good football, I believe. What's his name?
Lions 8.
Lions 8. What's this? Because Garoppolo didn't start last week, right?
Correct. It was one of the
Hoyer. It was Hoyer. Oh my goodness. Was it 2 quarterbacks? Brian Hoyer played last week and Adrian Rosie O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell.
Oh my God, you guys should go look at his mustache. It's 70s ish.
Well, he went 10
Not
for
good
13, 76 yards and a touchdown and a pick. Not too great. Mustache or not. Again,
Holy
back to
cow.
keep it short and sweet. I think Detroit comes out and really puts a. This is where you're going to see a shellac. You said 8.5.
8.
I think Detroit's going to come out mad, angry, frustrated over the last game, and want to put a shellacking on someone. They're going to come out and let it all out. I think my buddy, my homie, my favorite receiver in the NFL right now, Amon St. Brown, better known as the Egyptian in the WWE circles. I think he tears it up. I think he had a good game last week too, even though they lost by the way, which is kind of weird. What's the score? They only scored like 6 points or something.
They only scored 6. He went 33 for 53, 284 and a pick.
No, what did St. Brown have last week?
13 receptions for 102.
Yeah, he still had an okay season. That's a lot of receptions for one and the yardage. Either way, they come out frustrated, mad, angry, want to prove a point, and they tear into the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going with the Lions covering. You said 8, so they'll win by 10.
I put you at 9. Do you want 10?
That's fine. 9 is fine as long as they win by a cover.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, the Raiders are dysfunctional at best. They don't have a quarterback. Well, they have a quarterback, but it's one who hasn't practiced any at all. So, yeah, and they're and Josh Jacobs has been a non-factor this year. Like,
disappointingly.
Yeah, which surprises me because, as you said, it is a contract year, which apparently only matters once in a row, so not twice. So
I think he'll have a better, like the second half of the season. He'll
he has
come
to,
out, man.
right?
He's
Like,
still a good running back.
can he have a worse one? Like,
I'm not gonna lie. I wish I had left him for you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, bring us home, Striker.
Yeah, so I mean, unfortunately, I'm not going to be all that different. I think that the change here is that the Ravens last week on the Lions got a whole lot of pressure on Goff, and that makes a difference. I just don't see the Raiders bringing that this time. So Lions cover, and I honestly think 9's probably a little low, but I'm going to go 9 just because that
54 for Striker. Got it.
Yep. Yeah, 54.
All right. This has been another great week of talking football. Thanks for all the subs. Thanks for all the bits. Thanks you guys for coming out and watching us. Harley says Lions are going to lose by 21. Oh, Lions are going to win by 21.
I did not say lose.
Sorry.
The game of the week for you guys.
I already gave you mine. It's the Niners Bengals.
Really?
I think so.
I can't. I mean,
with the Niners struggle and the Bengals, I mean, the Bengals are a good team. They can if they can hold up against the siege, they can score points. Now they haven't, so I
for
think
me, I don't want to sound like a homer here, but it's going to be the Cowboys and the Rams. I just want to see if they can stop that pass game. Cowboys need to win, right? They only have 2 losses, but I think that's again, yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan, but for me, that's the game of the week.
I mean, I'm kind of going to make the homer pick in the Browns Seahawks, although I'm going to watch the Jags Steelers early. I think that's actually going to be a pretty good game. It's in Pittsburgh, I think, as we've all said, or you guys have said, Pittsburgh's a pretty plucky team this year. I'm curious to see how the Jaguars do in Pittsburgh. So, but I'm going to watch the Browns Seahawks because, you watch that local team, right?
Yeah, there's some good games for sure. I think the Sunday night game should have been flexed 100%, but There's definitely some good games this week. And just a disclaimer: if Tyreek Hill plays, can I go change my pick?
All right, so how are we looking on our picks? So we got the Jags are still alive with a 4-game winning streak, sitting at 5-2. The 49ers still alive in the NFC. Since he's looking on life support, the Jets are dead, and the Bills are on life support for our runner-up in the AFC. Our runner-up in the NFC, our Ripper had the 49ers. They're still looking good. I had the Cowboys. Striker had the Cowboys. So we're not eliminated yet.
No.
And
I picked the Jags to win the Super Bowl, didn't I?
And you did.
Come on, sunshine.
You did. Still don't believe that one, but wouldn't be upset. All right, this has been a great week. Anything from the chat room before we get out? Just let's go, Jags. All right. Appreciate the time, you guys. Have a great night.